this is a follow-up video to my last one. I don't know if I'm going to post it at the same time, but I might as well make it while I'm here. This one is addressed to Anna Sauer, and essentially this extension of the Scottish Labour Party. You are not the serf that you think you are. I have never met such an uncharismatic person. Maybe Keir Starmer. Like, that's the only person I can think that can beat Anna Sauer in the most just downright just uncharismatic. Like, the last person you should think to be like leader of the Labour Party. And I used to respect them just a tiny bit because of their adamancy on the NHS. But I knew that the Scottish Labour is essentially another wing of the Labour government, and B, that they were just as bad as the Tories essentially. But what essentially I'm getting at here is that Anna Sauer is probably the last person that should be running that government. And here's why. First of all, I've never seen someone do a kamikaze spiral on their whole career than when he basically called for Keir Starmer to resign. I agree, Keir Starmer should resign, but I think, you should have known better, because that wasn't the right time to call on Keir Starmer to resign. I know it's shit, he did let Peter Mandelson and all these other people let into the party who knew Jeffrey Epstein and knew about it and then was probably allegedly part of it. I know, but that wasn't the right time. You need to wait until all these backbenchers, the majority of them, say, I've had enough of Keir Starmer, we need to oust him. You can't just say, we should oust him when maybe 3 or 4 of them said, yeah, let's not. Okay, good on you for trying to start that movement, but it didn't fucking work, and I think you knew, or at least you should have known, that it wasn't going to fucking work. And this is, not me defending Keir Starmer. I think Keir Starmer is just a fucking asshole. I think he's sold out all his policies. I think he has no backbone. I think he's a man who only serves the interests of people who give him money. I think that Keir Starmer is someone who is like a lapdog, essentially, for people who, give him orders. I think he's a dog, essentially. Not literally, but more in the subservient state sense. And I know that's rich coming from me, but I don't know, pot kettle. But the thing is that I have my principles, I have my morals, I have things that I'm like, okay, this is crossing the line, I can't do this in good conscience. And I know, again, rich coming from me, given my past, but whatever. Another criticism of Anna Sauer is that he is just such a big fucking hypocrite. First of all, remember that whole thing where he was trying to criticize the SNP government over, being corrupt? Did we not just see what happened downstairs? Did we not just see that Labour is just been fucking up the country? I think you should actually be quiet. I think you should just be concentrating on it. In fact, no, you can't even do that anymore because you fucked that up too. What can you do? I kind of get the position that he's in, because I guess you think that the SNP are actively ruining the country. even though they've done these wonderful things like scrapping the two-child benefit cap, which we'll get fucking into, and all this stuff about, you know, the NHS and like all these things that the SNP government has done good. There are a few things that they did bad, but not even comparable to like Conservative or Labour, but whatever. But yeah, like, Joe, let's talk about it. The two-child benefit cap. I remember not last year, but before 2024, before the Labour government came in, and Asawa was like adamant that we were in favour of scrapping the two-child benefit cap. Labour government and downstairs came in, said, we're not going to scrap the two-child benefit cap. Follows behind, says, oh, we are not in favour of it. We think that it's, you know, people are going to abuse the system, whatever. But then when they finally did scrap the two-child benefit cap, they're like, we welcome it. We were always in favour of it. Like, no, you weren't. We have literal evidence that you weren't. We have you saying that you weren't in favour of it. Whatever. Then, you know, he sold out on basically all of his policies. And he can't just sit. You know, you do realise that Scottish Labour is its own party. Like, you don't have to follow Keir Starmer. I know it looks bad, kinda, but it's really not. Like, if you stand up to Keir Starmer and you say, we don't support that here, we're this party, we may have the same sort of name, but this is what Scotland's interests are. You are here to serve Scotland's interests. You are not here to serve England's interests. You're not here to serve the government's interest. You are not here to serve whatever fucking donors are donating to the Scottish Labour Party of all fucking places. Like, you are your own party. You can just say, look, we don't like this, okay? Like, back off. Like, I don't think it's that hard. I know it'll probably like do damage to your PR, but is there any more damage that can be done to the Labour Party at this point? I don't think so. And I keep seeing this Labour MP from Glasgow, Gordon McKee or something. He sounds alright on paper, but like you can tell he's like got his morals, he's got his ideologies. But the fact that he's tied to the Scottish Labour Party because, I don't know, he obviously doesn't like the SNP, and he obviously isn't in favour of independence. So, you thought, do you what? Yeah, I'll follow, I'll join, and I'll support the Scottish Labour. Like, congrats, mate, you just fucking ruined your chances. And there's the same with that candidate in Edinburgh who's saying, like, there's shoplifters on the rise in Edinburgh Central. So, and this is the fault of the SNP government. So what are we going to do? We're going to no, they didn't criticise the SNP. They could just criticise the Green Party. The Green Party want to, like, you know, reform the policing system. So instead of punishing people, we rehabilitate them, because punishing people clearly isn't fucking working. We have one of the highest conviction rates in Western Europe, sorry. Okay, I think it was something like per 1,000 people, there's 151 incarceration rate, whereas in Norway it's like 68. I think that's ridiculous. So, and also, just like the whole like Labour stooping down to the fucking level of not only disguising their MSP's candidate leaflets as green so they can make people think, oh yeah, this is green pie. And not only are they violating the rules by saying, like, this is done in England, I know, but the concerned citizens thing, but if they're gonna follow in England's footsteps, I'm gonna freaking criticize them for it by England standards. But also Anna Sauer did the freaking took a picture and used I think it was a fake quote by that lady who lived in Glasgow about her concerns without that, well, first of all, without her permission, and used it to basically add to his campaign, even though she wasn't she's impartial to basically all parties. I think he's just really fucking scummy. I think he's desperate. So yeah, Anna Sauer, you're not the girl that you think you are. Oh, nearly forgot. Pam Duncan Glancy. Most of you probably don't know who she is because you're not chronically online like me. But Pam Duncan Glancy was an MSP. I can't remember which. I think it was somewhere in Glasgow. She was an MSP for some. I'll need to look it up. Hold on. Okay, so she's the MSP for the Glasgow region. She's a regional list vote. And she said she was basically an advocate for disability rights because she was in a wheelchair. I think she had a bit of questionable stance, like the assisted dying bill she was against for some reason. She used the fact that she's disabled to her advantage on that, but whatever. It's not my place. In fact, yes, it is my place because it affects me too. Anyways, but what I'm saying is that basically she was an MSP regional list. She had a very close relationship to I think it was a convicted paedophile up in Aberdeen. I think it was a councillor, and she maintained that, and she still maintains it to this day. And for a while, the Labour government was like, "No, we can't do anything about it." Then they finally fired her, and now they're like, "Oh, we stand with the victims." It's like, no, you don't, because guess what's happening downstairs? The Epstein fucking scandals.